Just from Knockout Print Shop, time for 2022 goal setting. So if you watched the previous video, that was my long-winded therapeutic reflecting on 2021 video. And now we're going to get into my goal setting for 2022. I think this will be shorter. So I'm using the Makselife flagship vertical planner with the chevron cover. I'm going to start the year off in this, but I will say I've already used it for 1 week and I'm like, maybe I need to go back to the horizontal. I don't know. I'm kind of like, I just hit my head on my lights. I'm not really in planner mode quite yet. I took a hiatus from really serious using of my planner the second half of the year, and I've yet to kind of get into a groove. But anyways, this video is about goals. Okay, so in the last video, I chatted with you guys and gave you my comparison on my scores from 2021 to 2022. And for the most part, everything either maintained, went up, with the caveat or the exception of fun and recreation, which I got worse at. So I can't have it all. But if you watch that video, you know that whole story. So yeah, I feel good about my progress that I've made here. Work, getting my new job has been very fulfilling and bled into the other areas, feeling, kind of improving as well. Like I said in the previous video, I think it's important to realize if you can hone in on one area and make progress there, most likely a repercussion of that progress will bleed into other areas. So I think sometimes, it's easy to get overwhelmed in a goal planning kind of situation where you see all these categories and maybe your scores and your feelings about these areas aren't great. You're not happy with your health, you're not happy with your finances or whatever. And it feels like, how am I going to attack all these things? Sometimes if you can just really narrow your focus to one, maybe two, and give it a lot of attention, you kind of get these unintended consequences of the other areas starting to fall into place too, or at least giving you room to then focus on those areas because you're not having to spread your focus so thin. Okay, that's my little Coach Jess blurb of the day. Okay, so that's my assessment. I went over this piece in the last video too, just kind of focusing on my intentions for this year, since my absolute worst category is always fun and recreation, aka meaning essentially just the taking time off and resting. The rest of the part I'm fine on. You can see those are the two main crappy ones. Then I need to find a way to rest more and take time off. So Matt and I are kind of working on that together, what that's going to look like for the new year. In the new year, we both want to visit more farms. Before we had our farm, we spent a lot of time visiting other farms, and I have a bunch of farm people in, like a 2-hour radius from us that I still want to visit their farms. It really helps us learn and grow as farmers to visit other farms. So we want to get back in a habit of doing that. What I could use less of, worry. The story of my life, I'm a worrywart. And screen time, again, talked about this in the last video a little bit. I am finding myself in this yucky habit of aimlessly scrolling on social media. It doesn't get me down. I'm not seeing content that's making me feel bad or anything like that. I just am scrolling and I'm like, this is not adding anything to my life. I'm not necessarily connecting with new people. I'm not seeing stuff that's inspirational or educational. I'm just kind of blah about social media, which I don't like, the fact that I have this ingrained habit of, even though it's not bringing me anything, that I'm just habitually scrolling through it. So I need to figure that piece out. In the past, I've set parameters on my screen time. I don't know if that's how I want to approach it. I may need to do that. But anyways, that's kind of where I'm at. I think what my initial approach is going to be, instead of subtracting, I'm going to focus on adding. Last year, I also wanted to focus on reading, and I do a lot of reading on my phone, researching on the internet and reading articles and studies and papers and things like that on farming and marketing and the things that I enjoy. So there's that. I think so. I want to focus on that, and then maybe getting back to reading books again. So that's kind of, I'm hoping by adding that, the consequence of that will be reducing screen time. I would like to nurture trust. This has trusting and confidence with farm. Matt came up with this one for me. He's like, I want you to have more confidence with farm equipment. I am terrified to mow the lawn. I hate our riding lawn. It's so stupid. We have a hilly yard. We live in Tennessee. It's very hilly. And I just don't, I've started to get okay with the chainsaw. I've used it a few times, but he's like, I want you to feel confident with these things. He's like, you can do it. And he's like, and if you can do it, then we can get more done. And I was like, that's true, because I was literally used to be scared of the weed whacker, and now I love it. So I thought it was a cool one for me to do. Like he was like, I think that will make you feel more independent and confident if you can utilize some of those things. I'm like, okay, agreed. And then trusting has to do with trusting myself with farming. Again, I talked about this in the last video, but whenever you embark on like a new venture where you are a newbie, you don't know as much, you don't have the wisdom and the experience to go, oh yeah, I made that mistake, but it'll end up working out okay. Like if you were to ask me something about like health or fitness or body or mechanics or pain in your body, I'm usually like, oh, okay, you're going to be fine. What happened? When does it hurt? Blah, blah, blah. Because I have so much experience with so many people that if I have a ache or a pain in my body, I know if it's alarming or not. I trust that intuition and that knowledge and that wisdom. With farming, I'm like, oh shit, we didn't do this right with the animals. We didn't do that right. Our grass isn't going to grow, like all of that. So I know I can't speed this up because it's going to be time, wisdom, experience, all of that. But that's just like trusting everything's going to be okay, Jess. Like all of a sudden things aren't just going to go to crap immediately. So yeah, just kind of like trusting the process, let go of fear of making mistakes with farming. Like I'm going to have to experiment. One of my farm mentors, he was like, you just have to realize that you're going to learn from your mistakes and there is no right or wrong. Just like keep testing, keep learning. So my idea is I'm going to embrace learning experiments, meaning that's like, what does that mean? And I'm like, if I can approach things as everything is a mini experiment, it's not, the world isn't banking on this, then it's like, oh, we tried that, it didn't work. It's not the end of the world. So that's kind of my thing, and that good enough. Again, talked about this in the last video a little bit, but I need to, my whole approach to life is that it just needs to be good enough. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't even have to be the best. Right now, especially with things that are new to me or uncomfortable, it just needs to be good enough. And it, you know, it even boils down to like the business, because I again touched on this in the last video. So sorry if you listen to that and you're like, shut up, Jess, I already heard this. But even with like our social media and our marketing, I used to be like, every picture has to be perfect. We have to have the lights out. We have to do all this. And going through the rigmarole of that prevented me sometimes from even wanting to put out content anymore. I'm like, you know what? We got our new iPhones. I could take an okay picture. People are more interested in what I'm posting than if it's beautiful and perfect. Not that our pictures were perfect before anyways. So I'm like, good enough, like almost like, what is it? Done is better than perfect, that kind of thing. Okay, ramble over. And I pick a word for the year. I might do it. I don't know. That doesn't really resonate with me as a thing that like gives me, I don't know. I might change my mind. We'll see. I'm not hung up on that. Okay. So let's get to the good stuff. I last year had used this section to highlight the like kind of words or concepts in each area that I wanted to focus on. I didn't really do that this year. I'm really taking a light approach to this whole thing. I didn't even really brain dump like I have in years past. So goals. All right. Last year, these were similar areas of focus. Our two main are farm and home. And this is where I'm at. This could evolve. This could change. I may sit down and add a few things to different spots, but let me just kind of go over this with you. So for me, personal is our farm. It's my hobby. It's my happiness. It's my relationship with Matt. There's so much wrapped up in our experience of farming, and we learn so much, and it gives us so much. So it's been our focus. It's going to be our focus until we keep saying until we get in maintenance mode. But if you know a farmer, there's really no maintenance mode. You're like always doing stuff, just like anything in life, right? Like maintenance mode means things are a little easier because you have more wisdom, you have more systems, but things always come up. Okay, so we have a few things that are just like already gonna happen because the things have been set in motion. We have our meat birds ordered. We have new layers coming. We actually bred, hopefully, our sheep. So we should have lambs coming around May. Hopefully, we'll see. Finish clearing the forest. This is going to be a huge project marked off, and we'll be able to hopefully rest our bodies. And then from there, we'll be able to seed these new areas and create more pasture, which in the end will be able to give us more livestock, and then we can help heal our land more and all of that. I could nerd out on this stuff all day, but I'll spare you. Hopefully, maybe this year we can build our little shed barn closer to the house. I'm going to continue my research on a milk cow. I don't know if 2022 is going to be the year for that. But we'll see how the land comes along. I do want to add a few more raised beds to our garden. Not necessarily for more vegetables. We don't eat a lot of vegetables. We're very meat-based in our diet, but I want to do a pollinator garden. I want to do a few other things, so we'll add a few more raised beds. Every year I keep saying I want to add blueberry bushes, and I know it's one of those things you want to get going so you can start getting the fruit, but hopefully this year I'll figure out where I want to put those so I can put them, because blueberry bushes you don't want to move. They're perennial. You don't want to establish them and move them, so I'm still not 100% sure where I want to put them. We have to make a few updates to our chicken tractor. Need to figure out, we have an old 1940s, 50s concrete dairy barn on the top of a hill in front of our property. It's a mess. It looks like a zombie apocalypse barn. And we waver back and forth with, are we going to manually knock it down and take all these cinder blocks to the dump? Are we going to try to repair it? It's got a huge crack and foundation issues. So at the moment, we're thinking we'll fix it. So we'll see. Matt needs to build a new chicken feeder. We need to do some just like maintenance things for the animals and stuff like that. So some of this is easy. Some of these are bigger projects, but I think we will likely get most of this done this year. The area of needs the most improvement, fun and recreation, AKA take time off. You know, maybe 2022 will be our year where we actually do it. But this is what we're thinking of doing this year. We took zero time off in 2022. We stepped back from working when my parents visited in September around my birthday, but we didn't close the shop. We didn't stop completely working. So and this year, unlike any other year before in print shop history, we did not close Thanksgiving through Cyber Monday. Usually we take off Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, close the shop. We don't do Black Friday. And this year I'm like, let's try something different. You know, we'll do a big release on Black Friday. We'll see if this changes things. Let's change it up. No. We did great. We appreciate everybody's sales. We had a great month, a great Black Friday. It was awesome from a revenue standpoint, but from a stress standpoint, it was way worse than we had done it in previous years. Usually we start making new releases once the new planners come out. We go get those out weekly. We realize that's a lot more manageable than doing a bunch of work behind the scenes and having one big launch that did not really have a bearing on anything. And typically we'd have a pre-Black Friday sale for a week. Matt would be working on orders that whole week, and then we would close the shop Wednesday night before Thanksgiving, and then we'd have that 4-day weekend. And that was a lot more manageable. This time, because we had Black Friday, but we weren't working, we kind of still took the time off. When it came Monday, Matt was swamped and overwhelmed with orders. It was just unbearable. He felt like he was just could not catch up, and he does not like getting out orders slower than we typically do. So that did not work. So you can expect next year for us to go back to how we usually do it. I don't know if you usually shop during that time, but we will be closed that Wednesday night through Sunday night, and we will likely have some sort of pre-Black Friday sale, and we will literally take that weekend off. The other thing we've thought about doing for the past couple of years and have yet to execute, and I asked him this year, do you want to do this, was to take off the week from Christmas to New Year's, close the shop, do all of our sales and stuff the first few weeks of December, get all the orders out, and just, have a let's regroup. And he was like, no, Matt is a little bit of a workaholic too, and he doesn't like to, he knows everybody wants their new stuff, and timing, it kind of sucks from a planner standpoint to not be open then. But after, again, we've had really good sales the past week or so, the end of the year, and he's now playing catch up because we had to take a few days off, meaning he didn't do orders, and he doesn't like feeling behind. So I said, well, what if we just close the shop? So we think the week of Christmas through New Year's in 2022 that we're going to take that week off. I get to take that week off for work, basically. So it might be nice to just have a staycation or something like that. We probably need to add in some other time off thingies in here, which that may happen. But yeah, we probably should. We shouldn't wait till November of next year to take time off. So we'll craft something in there to take some time off, because that is a focus we need to take seriously. Because every time we have time off, the weekends, we work on the farm. Anyways, you get the idea. Work. So I don't really have work goals or business goals. Our goals this is kind of now in maintenance. Shop is doing okay. If you watched the last video, you know it was our lowest sales year ever, but it's okay because I have my job, and this level of sales is more manageable with the farm and then me having a full-time job that's remote. Like, it is a good situation. So while sales are down historically, as long as we can maintain, we're good. So we're just kind of like in this maintain. We're going to continue, obviously, what we usually do, having our new releases, having our sales, our newsletters. I am going to try to get back to doing maybe 1 to 2 videos a month. It is a little bit harder now having a full-time job. But during this time of year when there's more, I think, relevant, useful content I can share with you guys, like goal setting stuff, and as I'm getting back into the planner group, I think I have more value to share. Once I think I get out of like Q1, I don't have as much to share via like a video that I think is valuable. So I think my goal is going to be to maybe produce 1 or 2 videos a month during this kind of like beginning of the year time. And then from a work standpoint, I'm just going to continue growing my skills as I'm a marketing director and a program coordinator. And this just, it's an area that I really enjoy. So I'm always reading and learning. So I don't have any specifics on this, but that's kind of in maintenance mode. With our family and relationships, just continue growing the connections we have. We're coming up on almost 2 years of living in our house now in this community, and just continuing to build those relationships and having a community again. With health, maintain health. We've been here for 2 years now. It's time to finally go to the dentist and the doctor. We are very healthy people, and we're not super doctor going people, but I think we need to have a doctor that we can go to, primary care. So that's for both of us. We need to do that. Talked about the reading thing. Financial, new health insurance plan. That's already done. I had to pick a new one. We will have one this year that has an HSA, so we can hopefully contribute to that, and we do need to get a new roof. So we don't have a lot of financial goals. A lot of it's just going to be, again, putting money into our farm and getting that set up. I'm sure there's going to be some expenses that come up with animals and fencing and different stuff like that we need to invest in. And then this last one is make our house a home. Like I said, we've almost lived here for 2 years, and it looks like we don't have much on the walls. We're minimalist to begin with, but there are some things that we want to get done to make our house feel more like, I guess, homey. I don't know. We don't have a lot of decor. We're not really into that, but there's some things we need to do. So I basically put down kind of each room of the house and a few of the things we want to get done. Like I said, I don't know if it was this video or the last video, but I've already started painting the cabinets in the bathrooms and just sprucing things up a bit. Luckily for us, this house was flipped, and so fresh paint on the walls, fresh floors, like some nice things that made it easy for us to be it's kind of move-in ready. So now it's just personalizing it, and I know that takes time. So there's just some few things we want to do, and that will come with time. So that is my goals. And I don't do the vision board. I did a vision board, I think, last year, but that's not where my head is at. So I don't know. I have to be honest. I don't know how much I will reference this stuff. I don't know if I will get back into setting monthly goals and weekly goals. I like having this as like just kind of my reference guide of I can look back at this and maybe see each month if there's something specific. Maybe as we get to the spring and like our animals we're going to be getting, there might be things I need to put down to get us ready for those things. This is probably going to be more of a reference kind of thing. And again, same with these projects. Maybe if I'm like, okay, maybe this month we can tackle this, and I might then write some things in monthly or weekly goals. But I don't feel a strong urge to get really into the like monthly, weekly goal setting thing. Like it just doesn't feel like I need to. That may change, but if you're somebody that needs it, I can't sing the praises of the Makselife planner enough. It is a great tool, and it's great because you can use as much or as little as you want. I may end up getting the horizontal or the vertical inserts because I really did enjoy the last half of the year using my disc planner. I used my IncoPress Classic inserts just because it's the inserts I have, but I like the disc planner. I really enjoy this cover. Now we're not even talking about goals. I enjoy this cover, but I like the disc. I don't like this big wire. So it is a bulky planner. But yeah, that's my goals for 2022. feel pretty good going in with a solid focus on home and farm, figuring out the time off situation, and just continuing doing life, and hopefully things keep moving forward in a good direction. But I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you've got a great 22 planned ahead of you and some good, cool, fun, goals set that will bring you lots of joy and happiness and success and all the good stuff. Let me know if you have any questions about goal setting, about stickers, whatever you have questions about. Comment below, shoot me an email, hello@knockoutprintshop.com. Facebook group, KOPS fans, Knockout Print Shop on Instagram. Hang out with us in all the places. I've been pretty quiet on social media, but we do have our Facebook group, and you can always post and connect with each other there. I think that's all. I will likely do a video here about how I'm using the planner. Give you a little sneak peek of the boringness, because I'm not in a planning groove, my friends. Here is week 1 for me. That's it. A list. And I always put things at an angle. I'm not really sure. I thought for sure I was going to be vertical. I ended last year doing the Ankle Press Classic, which is the vertical. But I find these columns a little bit narrower, which makes it hard for me. And I'm wondering if I need to go back to the Makselife horizontal. I also have the daily. I don't know. I'm going to let January be a month of figuring things out. So we'll see. All right, guys, rambling over. Talk to you for 20 minutes about life. So again, I hope it was helpful. I hope you're doing well. I hope you had a great 2021 and you have a wonderful 2022. And I will see you guys in the next video.